Welcome to the Michael Singer podcast, presented by Sounds True, in partnership with Shakti Publications. For more information about Michael Singer's work, access to all prior episodes, and information about upcoming releases, we invite you to join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com.
Jagrata, Jam Masters. There are things that are reality in life that some people will never ever, at least in this lifetime, come to know anything about. You can call them the deep secrets, the hidden jewels. At some point they become so obvious, like, my eyes were blind, but now I see. You can't ignore them. They're just right in front of your face all the time. One of those is Shakti. Very few people understand Shakti. In fact, only a great master understands Shakti. We talk about, in yoga, we talk about prana in the body. In other Eastern teachings, they talk about chi. They're talking about Shakti. We talk about emotional disturbances. You're talking about Shakti. You're talking about mental disturbance. You're talking about Shakti. When you talk about love, overwhelming love pouring through your heart, you're talking about Shakti. When you talk about deep, quiet peace that overcomes your being, you're talking about Shakti. When you talk about the upward ascent, the Spirit flowing up, pulling you up, the Holy Spirit, right? You're talking about Shakti. All of it is Shakti. All of it is Shakti. When you're talking about the quantum field, just this foundational field that vibrates, and from those vibrations, all of creation as you know it, all matter, all energy, emanate and put together. Electrons, neutrons, protons, atoms, molecules, all of it is Shakti. It's Shakti. That's one of the great masters. It's hard for people to understand this. Ramakrishna, he's late 1800s. He didn't know much about the quantum field. Plus, he was not a quantum physicist. All he saw was light. He didn't have to try to. He couldn't not. All he saw was blinding light, shimmering. That's how he described it. Shimmering light. He called it the Divine Mother. Once somebody asked him, one of his disciples asked him, because he was gone bye-bye. Right? If all you saw was light, you don't care much about what's going on else in the world. And the light is ecstasy and feeding you and filling you, right? And he used to get invited. He was such a high being. He got invited by prime ministers for dinner, this and that. His disciples would go with him. And in the middle of dinner, the master would stand up, start drooling and dancing and singing God's name, all right? And they'd ask him afterwards, Master, don't you get embarrassed? He's like, don't you have any sense of self-concept or so on? And he said to them, I'll never forget this. He said, do you know how sometimes you say you see images, like ghostly apparitions, so like a vision. You start seeing something like a ghost or like something that's not there, but it has deep spiritual meaning, all right? That's how I see your world. All I see is shimmering, blinding light. And every once in a while, coming into my vision is what you called a building, and then it fades away. Shakti. Someday, maybe, like right now, if you asked a quantum physicist, I've discussed with you at least the foundation of quantum physics, you should all understand the simplicity of the foundation of what they found. The deeper they go, the simpler it becomes. We had all these different atoms on the periodic table. No, we don't. We have electron, neutron, and protons. No, we don't. We have vibrations in a field, In an omnipresent field, there's irritations, and they have properties, spin, charge, and they interact with each other, and they cancel each other out like waves in the ocean. But when they put themselves together a certain way, for a billionth of a millisecond, a neutron shows up. Really a quark, 2 up quarks and a down quark, and you have a proton, 2 down quarks and an up quark. The quarks are even smaller. They're not particles. They're just part of the properties of that wave. And then these objects pop into existence because of the laws, the underlying laws. Like there are no electrons, neutrons, or protons. There are no atoms. There's just a field that gets irritated, agitated. And when it does, it makes wavelets, just like everything else does when energy hits it. And those wavelets naturally, due to the laws, put themselves together and create what we see as electron, neutron, and proton that comes all the way up. This whole world right now is like Ramakrishna saw it. It is literally how he saw it. It's just pure light shimmering, and then it puts itself together as this. Please take a breath. You don't have to be a quantum physicist to understand what they have found. What they have found is spiritual. It's phenomenal. But if you ask a quantum physicist, okay, fine, what is the quantum field? They have no idea. They don't try to have an idea. They say their job is not to have philosophy of where things come from and this and that. It's to explain what is here now. How do I dig down and explain what I'm seeing? Well, they have these big colliders over in France and Switzerland. The CERN LHC, Large Hadron Colliders. They're miles long, and they shoot 1 proton at each other for miles and accelerates enough that if they happen, well, they don't shoot 1, they shoot billions. If they happen to hit each other for a tiny of a microsecond, they see it split into quarks, leptons, etc. It's like they are getting down to see what made the universe. But they don't know what those things are made of. Maybe they'll go another level and see something else. Right now, they just have this omnipresent field that generates everything. What Ramakrishna saw was that light. He saw that. His mind did not bring it down to this level. And he just saw the shimmering light that put itself together into this universe. And they gave that a name, Shakti. Way back, the great masters talked about Shakti. We'll talk about the other side in a minute. So the whole thing is Shakti. The whole thing is Shakti. That means all of the 35 trillion cells in your body, which are all made of Shakti. When people say, I thought Shakti was that which flows through me. If you take steam, regular steam, and you make it cold, it becomes water. It is still the same structure. It's still hydrogen and oxygen atoms, exactly the same, just moving at different rates. That's all that's going on, is Shakti vibrating at different rates of vibration. So when the Shakti is making form, when it manifests as form, that's a very low, gross vibration rate. Now there can be grosser vibration rates. A rock is vibrating less actively than your cells. Because they're vibrating at a higher rate, they're able to move around. They're able to have flexibility, right? If you take the water and make it cold, it becomes ice. Well, what's the difference between ice and water? Nothing. But one flows through the other, one you can drink. They're the same thing. It's all the same thing, just vibrating at different rates. As it vibrates at different rates, it's able to do different things and manifest in different ways. So to get ahead, I said, okay, so all the physical form of Shakti, all physical form is Shakti. But what about the Shakti that flows through me? We'll get there. It's still all Shakti. They are just hydrogen and oxygen atoms, steam, water, ice. But they look different. They're the same thing. There's no difference. Nothing's added to it, nothing. It's just vibrating at higher rates. Therefore, it's more flexible, more open. It can move more, or it's less, and it freezes down. So your body and this world is a very low rate of vibration that manifests as form. That's what form is. Well, what about this physical form? Isn't the only thing that exists. What do you mean? Science says it is. Well, what about my thoughts? Oh, that's your brain. It is not. They can grab a piece of your brain and take it out. They can't grab your thoughts. Your thoughts are there. Can you create thoughts? You can create thoughts. Do you have emotions? How do you know you have emotions? because you feel them. We're working our way up. Thoughts and emotions are Shakti vibrating at a higher rate than form. Do they know that? No. They will know it when they develop machines that are sensitive enough to pick up the higher vibrations. There was a time in which the electromagnetic spectrum was very small. It didn't have infrared and ultraviolet, etc. When they discovered those things by developing instruments that could pick up the higher vibrations, they didn't say they were alien. They didn't say they're from some other world, another plane of reality, did they? They just defined them as part of the physical plane because they were able to see them. If you told them about it to start with, that there was such a thing as an X-ray that could see right through your body, there's not. Nobody had developed or seen that there were rays vibrating at a high enough rate that they could go right through your body. But they didn't make it weird. They just said, okay, it's part of the physical plane. Everything they found, they defined as part of the physical plane, which is fine. So someday they'll find out that there's higher vibration rates that make your thoughts fine, that make your emotions. You know there are. And so the deep spiritual teachings are very scientific. How do you see? You have senses. You have eyes that are optically sensitive. You have ears that are auditorily sensitive. You have skin that is tactically sensitive, correct? So you have sensors that can pick up the vibration rates. Your consciousness, your awareness of being is able to pick up thoughts and emotions. How do you know? Because you know they're there. You can even create them by yourself. Make a boat. Make a house. Where are those things? They're there. I have met, maybe you have too. I'm not into all the psychic stuff. I have met psychics that can see your thoughts, and I'm not playing around. Literally, you make a house, they see the house. Why? Because it's there. Well, how come I don't see yours? The answer is so simple. Because I'm only interested in mine. I only have eyes for you. Can you get that fixated on something? That's all you see? That's why you see your thoughts and feel your emotions. Can you feel other people's emotions? Of course you can. They're called vibrations. Can you walk into a house where people are fighting and they stop and they sit up straight and say, you can feel the energy? Yes or no? You're not psychic. You're sensitive enough to feel not you. But if you walked into that house, something bad happened to you before you walked in, you don't feel squat but you. There, look what we can understand. It's all the same. It's just different vibration rates of Shakti manifesting different ways, right? We'll get to consciousness in a moment. It's the only thing that's different. So now your thoughts are Shakti. Well, what about this Shakti that yoga talks about, that way you're used to? Oh, I feel Shakti pouring through my being. I get so filled with Shakti. I met the great saint master. Oh my God, the Shakti was amazing. That's how you like to use it, don't you? It's everything. That's just a higher, what does that mean? Just as water can flow through. If it's vibrating high enough, if ice is vibrating high enough, it can flow straight through. If energy is vibrating high enough, it can flow through. It's funny to say through your body. It just is just like X-rays go through your body. No, they don't. They're just high enough vibration to where your body doesn't stop them. Nothing blocks them. Well, your Shakti is a high enough vibration to where generally, and we're going to talk about that, and that's what I want to talk about, is it can make it through. It can flow. There's nothing stopping it. There's nothing stopping it. It flows right through. How come air doesn't show up? Because light doesn't get stopped by air. It's thin enough, it's not dense enough, et cetera, to where light just goes right through it. Photons go right through it. They don't go through the wall. Why? Is the wall different? No, the wall is absolutely no different. It's just vibrating at a very different rate. Therefore, it's dense enough. The vibration slows down enough to be able to stop enough to become dense, and photons can't flow through it, therefore. Okay? It's all science. It's all spirituality and science are the same thing. It's just that science hasn't caught up. All right? So Shakti, what you call Shakti, is Shakti. It's the same energy that created the universe, that is at the base of all quantum, everything. There's just one energy. God is one. It is one. It's the primal energy that all of creation is vibrating at all different rates, but it's the same energy. So the Shakti you feel flowing through you, and we'll talk about why and how and so on, the Shakti you feel flowing through you is a higher vibration rate of Shakti that's thin enough that it can make it through passing. It doesn't get blocked by your body, but can it get blocked by your body? Well, I just jumped to right what we should talk about. Can you be feeling Shakti, love, joy, enthusiasm, and somebody say one word to you and it stops? That's what I want to talk about. Does it or doesn't it? Yeah. Or could you be all depressed? We'll talk about what that is. Every single word you use can be replaced by Shakti. You are not depressed. The higher energy can't flow through the lower blockages that you created with your mind and your emotions. Let's just get it. You had an experience. What's an experience, Shakti? I'm sorry, I'm going to do it all day. It's just Shakti out there. Therefore, anything you experience is just Shakti. It's all the same. It comes in. What do you mean in? It passes through the denser part of your being, gets picked up by the Shakti that makes up your senses. It's all the same dance. It's the dance of Shakti. Comes in and is going to pass through you. What does it mean? Through the higher vibration of your mind, through the vibration of your emotions. It has to pass through all these layers. To go to a higher vibration rate, you have to make it through the lower vibrations. That's all. For me to see through that wall, I have to upstep how fast the molecules within that wall are moving. And bam, goes through. Same thing within yourself. Now, I'm just going to forget the physical physics. I'm going to talk about you, right? Because that's what you need to know about. You are a walking bundle of Shakti vibrating at every possible rate. That's what you are. So what happens when something happens outside? There is no outside. It's just a lower vibration rate, comes in, the higher vibration rate, comes in, passes through you, gets in there, and then it has a vibration. Everything has a vibration. It's so hard to talk about this. It's so simple. A rattlesnake out there rattling, when it comes in, the snake doesn't come in, but the vibration does, doesn't it? It feels very different than a butterfly landing on your arm. Totally different vibrations. Okay, fine. It's a world of vibration. Every single vibration that could ever be is and was and will always be. Simultaneously. It's called God. Omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent. It's everywhere, it's at all times, vibrating at every single rate, period. So I have to bring in, because I purposely didn't, but when that vibration comes in, you're aware of it. There's only one thing that isn't the creation of Shakti that I said is everything, and that's consciousness. You are aware of every single vibration of Shakti at every single level that comes into your world of awareness. The same consciousness feels joy and pain. The same consciousness feels depression and ecstasy. The same consciousness sees red, white, blue, orange, yellow. The same consciousness sees male, female. The same consciousness sees a bug. The same consciousness sees a star. There's just one consciousness in there. You're a conscious being. We will talk when I'm done. We'll talk about the relationship between consciousness and Shakti. But right now, I'm going to talk about it as if they're separate. So your awareness of being is able to pick up many different vibration rates of Shakti. In the physical form, Shakti manifested as your senses. Those senses can pick up colors, shape, movement, high, low, hot, cold, you name it. All right? But when it's all said and done, it is the same consciousness that is experiencing all of those. There are many, many objects of consciousness. There's just one consciousness. Like if I put red, blue, yellow, orange, and black in front of you, and I say to you, what is this color? What is this color? And then I ask you, did you see different colors? Yes. Was it the same you that saw them? or you got to call each other. Is it not the same you that saw the colors? The colors weren't the same. The same you saw them. That's true of every single thing in your life. Do you have different thoughts at different levels? Some high, some low. Some nice, some X-rated. All right? Is it the same you who sees them all? When you're depressed, how do you know you're depressed? There's only two big questions in the universe. What is the universe made of, including thoughts, all form? What is all form made of at every level? Who experiences it? There, we got it pretty simple. That's the two things. Are your thoughts not forms? Do they talk to you and see visually and so on? Are your emotions, they're not like the same forms as your thoughts, but you feel an emotion. It comes up, anger, love, resentment, jealousy, insecurity, self-consciousness, embarrassment. Yes or no? These things exist or not? Every single one of you know what I'm talking about because you experience them. Where are they? Out here? No, they're not out here. But they are Shakti. They're just a different vibration rate. They're not picked up by your physical senses, but they are picked up inside. You feel vibrations. You can feel somebody's love. I hope you can. I hope you can sit there and just feel all this energy pouring between your hearts. It's not just you. There's juice out there. Why do you think people visit holy places? And they talk about, oh my God, it had so much Shakti. You know, everything is Shakti, but it can hold that. People can go to places, you know, it was Amityville, I don't know, these horror houses, you know, haunted houses, right? That's a real thing. People can feel things. Can you walk into a place and not feel good about it? You've never been there before. It's just got a low vibration. Can things have a low vibration? Can they have a high vibration? It's because your consciousness can pick up every vibration. It's all Shakti. All right, so now let's get back down to Shakti flowing and Shakti not flowing, which is what I like to talk about, because that's your work. Okay, so you're here, you're having a fairly good time, everything's fine, you go to a party, you're excited to go there, and all of a sudden, somebody calls out, Ben, and you just went through a divorce 2 years ago with a guy named Ben, and it really was not very nice. Okay, how you doing? Did it change a little bit? I want to leave. I want to leave. It's not the same Ben, doesn't matter. I've had enough of any Ben for my entire life. I've had enough Bens. What happened? What's going on? What happened was an event happened in the past, your relationship with Mr. Ben, and it didn't go well. And when the energies came in, it wasn't one incident, but let's make it was one incident, came in, it did not feel good. You don't like what he said, what he did, or anything like that. It came in and it was a low vibration and it wasn't comfortable to you. Did you want it to come all the way back to the core of your consciousness so you could feel it fully? Not a chance in the world. You want to protect yourself from it. You, the consciousness in there, that lives in there, is feeling this vibration and is not comfortable with it. So what do you do with it? You stop it from coming in the rest of the way. The same way you block somebody's punch. It's like you protect yourself. So the consciousness in there does not want it coming all the way in. And you know how not to because you have will. What is will, Shakti? It's just a form of very high concentrated Shakti that can push against the lower Shakti. It's just all Shakti dancing with Shakti. So you have power in there. Who does? You. Why? Because Shakti's power. You're just focusing a higher Shakti onto a lower Shakti, which is the vibration that came in, and you have the ability to push it away. Who said so? Freud. You think Freud was the first one to come up with that stuff? Are you kidding me? People dealt with it from the beginning of time. Yogis went into the mountains to try and get rid of it. You have stored stuff in there, have you not? Have you stored stuff in there that happened from the past and isn't happening anymore? Does it come back up by itself? Do you have to push it back down? Are you afraid of it? Are you afraid of some stuff you have in there that you know if it came back up, it would ruin your life? It would mess you up. You know, I don't like to talk about that. Why? I told you I don't want to talk about that. Why? They're just words. They're just Shakti. Why do you want to talk about it? Because I have stored. What does that mean? I lowered the vibration so it didn't pass through. That's what you did. You used your will to slow. You listen to me. You used a very high vibration of energy, which is your will. You focused it to slow down that thing that would have passed right through. Boom! Just like the trees pass through and the white lines pass through and the people you don't know pass through and the cars pass. They all pass through. 99% of every single thing that ever came into your senses passed right through. But not that. Why? Is your Shakti? Because you stopped it. How did you stop it? You used a higher vibration rate of energy. You in there, consciousness has access to everything. You used it and you pushed it down. You slowed it down. And when it slowed down, it couldn't go through anymore. And so it got stored at whatever level of vibration a slowed down emotion ends up. Whatever vibration a slowed down thought form ends up. Otherwise, thoughts just come and go. But not if you stop them. So they lower the vibration rate and they get stored in your heart. And where they get stored is where a whole nother vibration rate of Shakti manifests, which is your flow, your Shakti flow. It gets stored in that Shakti flow. It's like taking a rock in a flowing stream and sticking it in and blocking the flow of the water so it splashes against it and creates eddies and currents and sprays. That's what you did to your natural Shakti flow, which is a very high vibration of energy. We'll talk about that before I'm done. And it's just ecstatic as it flows through, and it's there all the time. It is your natural state of being. You have access to every single vibration of Shakti. Your consciousness is the highest thing that is. It can feel really high vibrations and really low things and so on. Plus, it has the ability to focus. Your consciousness can focus. Can't you concentrate? When you focus your consciousness on an emotion or a thought that you don't want coming up to you, to the consciousness, to the seat of consciousness, you slow down its vibration and it stores inside of you. And it will be there for your entire life. And psychology agrees with me 100%. And look what it takes to get it out. Forget yoga for a minute. Let's get traditional psychological therapy. You had an experience that took place when you were 7 years old. Something happened that, no, you couldn't handle it. Your consciousness could not handle it, so you pushed it down. It could take years of therapy to get it out. And they don't even say it's totally out. It's like AA. They say you're always an alcoholic, you're just not drinking. Pay attention. So psychology, I don't know that much about, there's different levels of psychology, transpersonal and so on. But in traditional psychology, they may say, well, okay, we've got to work through your reason and I have to cope with it. It happened, you have to cope with it. It's not true. It's not happening, therefore it should not be affecting you. I'm sorry, I'm so logical. Why are you being affected by something that doesn't happen? Things that are not happening should not be bothering you. How's that? Why would they bother you? They're not happening. Well, you're doing this to yourself. I'm going to make a statement to you. If it ain't happening, it shouldn't be bothering you. Am I making sense to you? I know you can't do it. I know they don't teach you this. But why would you be bothered by something that's not happening? Because you stored from the past something that bothered you and you decided to keep it. This bothered me so much, I'm going to keep it for my whole life and let it bother me forever. Okay, nice choice. Do you do it? Because no one will talk to you like this. So what you did is you slowed down the vibration. Here, your body is still here that had the experience, but your emotion shouldn't be. It just passes through. Your body's a lower vibration rate. And so it can't move as much. It's not as fluid. But your thoughts and your emotions, oh boy, they come in a minute and come and go, right? But you decided to use your will, Shakti, to slow it down. You literally slowed down the vibration rate of the thought or the emotion as it passed through you. So it couldn't pass through your psyche. It didn't get stuck in, well, I won't say it didn't get stuck in your physical body. It did so. You get ulcers, you get headaches, you tense. If the Shakti flow that's coming down into your body, the prana, we call it prana. Oh, what is prana? There's a certain vibration of Shakti, they call it prana. It's your Shakti. If that vibration gets disturbed as it's coming down into your body, why is it disturbed? Because it hits that stuff you stored. Then the energy that is feeding your cells, that is literally doing everything as coming, your whole life force, that's what they call it, your life force, is disturbed. It's vibrating at a disturbed rate. It will mess you up. And that's why you have those types of energy therapies and all kind of stuff like that. Do they work? Of course they work. They don't necessarily solve the problem. The problem is in here. They help to release the energy. A massage does it. You have places of tension. Why? Because the energy that came in is not healthy. You eat food that's not healthy, you better go see somebody. So it does affect the physical body. So as it comes down, it slows down and it can do stuff at every level. And so basically, what's the answer? Stop shoving that stuff down there. It is obvious. Then we can talk about how to do it. That's a different story. But you first have to understand you're doing this. You do resist every single thing that actually happened and came in and you resisted. You held inside and it will disturb your Shakti flow. But I use the word, by Shakti flow, I just mean the exact vibration of the Shakti, because it's everything that you feel as the upliftment of joy, of spiritual energy. Let me call it that. That's a vibration rate, Holy Spirit. So now what you've got is a natural energy flow at a certain level. It's like your body is a phenomenal thing. It has an immune system to try and keep it healthy. It has a digestive system that lets you eat anything from grass to meat. It's amazing what your body is capable of doing. Your body intends to have you be healthy. It's trying very, very hard. You understand that? They sit there and say you need protein. They all have those diets that you're supposed to have. Many of you don't have those diets and you do just fine. The body is phenomenal. Its intention, it is so brilliant, it can handle a lot of stuff, can it? So basically what's going on is the Shakti is supposed to be healthy. It's just another vibration rate of energy that balances and flows, and you feel it all the time. It feeds you. That's what Christ meant in the Bible when he said, man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that leaveth the mouth of God. There's yoga. There's a discussion about Shakti. You don't live, meaning you don't get joy and meaning of your life by what's coming in from outside. Bread, not just from the outside. There is a flow inside, but by every word that leaveth the mouth of God. That's your Shakti flow. Isn't that beautiful? And it's real, and you feel it. There's inner openness that you can fed, right? All right. So basically, you have this flow of that vibration rate of Shakti, spiritual vibration of Shakti, that's always going up. It's feeding you. It's going up. Shakti comes down to feed the body, to energy feed the body, and it flows back up. That's your meridian system. It all ties together. Your conception and governing vessel, right? It's coming in, it's flowing back up. It's coming in, it's flowing back up. That's at the physical level. Well, the Shakti at every level is doing that. When you block, the main point is what I'm talking about. When you use your will, the power of your Shakti at that level to push against an actual experience that came in. I'm sorry, you're not going to stop it from having happened. No one has ever stopped an experience from having happened. All you did was stop from feeling it. Stop from experiencing it totally. And when you did that, I'm telling you, it got stored inside of you, and it will be there until it's allowed to let go. And it goes so deep down, you don't even know it's there. Then all of a sudden, I've met people, they're fine for years and years and years and years, all of a sudden something comes up. They totally change. I mean, like, hit a switch. They're a different person. They want different things. They believe different things. They hope for different things, everything. Can that happen? Why? Because that's stuff you got down there. That when the Shakti flows a certain way, God, we're having a deep discussion. When your Shakti balances based on the stuff you stored down there, it's always trying to come up. You understand that? It's always trying to go back to God. It's all trying to merge all the time, but it can't because it's blocked. And so when it hits the blockage, the mind exactly mirrors what part made it through, what part didn't make it through. So your mother did this, and your father did this, and your first husband did this, and then that happened, but then you had the experiences you liked, all right? So you got all that stuff stored down there, and it shouldn't be, because it's not happening. You should be living your life based on what the heck's going on. This is your life. That's not your life. That was your life. Those were experiences you had. They're not supposed to be in there. Because if they're in there, the Shakti has to find a way around it to where at least you have some energy. Otherwise, you're totally depressed. There's nothing. What your mind says, you know, the talky going on in there, the voice that talks in the mind. Why did I do that? I don't know. Oh my God, I kind of like her. Oh, I can't, I don't know. That whole thing, it is all a reflection of the Shakti that you store and block downstairs. It's like a motion picture in the old days, you used to fast through film, and then it came out onto the screen. Your mind is the screen playing the film of your blockages. That's what your personal mind is. Not your whole mind. Your mind's brilliant. But your personal mind, I'm telling you, that's why the stuff says what it says. You can be in a perfectly good mood, and all of a sudden, you think about something that happened 10 years ago. How you doing? Goes away, doesn't it? And plus, you know this. You're brilliant. So your mind tries to create outer situations that when they come in, they help your Shakti flow. And it tries to avoid, like poison, outer situations that you know will get you upset. What does it mean to get upset? The Shakti hits your stuff. Can you get angry? Can you get angry? Has anybody ever felt anger? Does anybody know what the word anger sounds like or means? It is the Shakti blocked, pouncing off the blockage and needing a place to express itself. And some people can't handle that. And the next thing you know, the rage of that current, of that water that got all messed up down there, starts spewing out. All right? Can you feel very, very strong desires? What is a desire? You have desires. I want a boat. I've always wanted a boat. I want a boat. And when you think about it, you just feel uplifted. You feel like that. And all the time you're looking to earn a boat. Your whole life is about somehow getting that boat. Why do you want a boat? There's a boat that floats in the water. It's like, why? There's a reason. There's something that got stored down there. And somehow your mind thought, how can I be okay? And it remembered a movie it saw, or a book it read, or an experience it had when it was young. And I said, if I can recreate that, I'm going to be okay. And the very fact that your thought believes you're going to be okay, you won't. But have you ever gotten what you wanted? Have you ever gotten what you wanted? Was that the end of it? You never wanted anything else? Ha ha. Did it always turn you on the same as when you first got it? Ha ha. So basically your mind, your thinking mind, is trying to help you. Doesn't seem like it. It's trying to help you. It's trying to think of what could happen that would help the Shakti flow past the blockage. Like when you were young, you had a lot of brothers and sisters, and it wasn't good relationships. It was terrible. Plus one of them died young, and it really hurts you terribly. You don't have children. What do you mean you don't want to have children? What does that mean? It means my mind has all that energy blocked down there, and it doesn't want to deal with that. Or it wants to have children to prove it can be okay. They're both the same. Children are children. They come, believe me. The deer out there, they have kids, all right? It's a natural process. It's not something you want or don't want, or upset because you couldn't have it, or upset because I had too many, now what I do. That's just your mind trying to think of what it thinks will let your Shakti flow. There are people that aren't getting along very well in their married relationship right now, okay? But they were doing good when they had their first kid. They felt bounded, and they went together, and they did things. And so they decided to have another kid. I do not want to be that child. That child was not made out of love. That child was made of, I'm not okay. We're all screwed up. Maybe this will take care of it. It won't. The problem is that you don't have another child. The problem is that you're blocked. What's the child got to do with that? So we're trying to create in our minds alternate events that could take place that we think will make us feel better, or ones that better not take place because we think it'll make us feel terrible. And all of a sudden, our entire life is run by that. It's run by your mind saying, I need this and I don't want that. Now figure out how to get it and avoid it. It's not enough that it took the image of, I told you, run a light through the film of your scars. I call them scars, that stuff you store down there. Run a light up through that film and have it project onto your mind. And that's what your mind's talking about. His problems are not hers, but they've been married for years. That won't matter. How long did you go through all these experiences before you even met the person you married? They don't know you. You don't know them. Oh boy, it got real quiet in here. If man is the sum of his learned experiences, you picked up about 3% of them. What about the other 97% of every experience that person had? Well, they told me about it. It would take a lifetime. to tell you about it. Plus, you don't even know what influence it had on you. You'll lie. You're not going to tell the truth, right? That happened to me, but I was okay. I was okay with it. I don't think about it much, but I was okay with it. Do you understand that? Please wake up as to what it's like to deal with all these different levels of Shakti and be unconscious being in there. So what you end up doing is the stuff comes up that's disturbing or comes up that's nice. Your mind thinks, how can I have it again? How can I avoid it? I guarantee you, every single thing you want is of impressions that got left in there that felt good when they happened. And every single thing you absolutely don't get near me is because of impressions that happen in there that really were terrible when they happen. And you stored them in there. They're running your life. Every one of you. Everything you want, everything you like, everything you don't like, and why, and what you're going to do about it, and what you decided is the answer to your problems, all of it is those things coming up into your mind and your mind trying to be okay with all that stuff coming in there. And you can have one thought but the emotion comes right back up to think about something that happened. It's all down there. So now we're talking Shakti. That's another level of Shakti. What? You slowed it down enough to where you stored these samskaras. That's what yoga called them thousands of years ago. You stored these patterns from the past inside your Shakti flow, inside the natural flow of your Shakti. And they're going to determine how much Shakti you feel. Watch a movie that has a person in it, some famous person in it, and you love the movie. And all of a sudden you see in the newspaper, that person's coming to town. How are you doing? Feeling Shakti? Feel excited? Feel enthused? Feel inspired? Want to go? Okay. Rewind prior to seeing that movie. You don't know the person. You never seen the person. You never heard of them. Newspaper article comes out. That person's coming to town. Has no effect on you. Take a breath. How many of those do you have stored in there? That is what's running your life. And that is not what should be running your life. So the Shakti will flow based on what you stored. Why? Because you blocked it based on what you stored. What does it mean to not have that stuff in there? That's an enlightened master. Why? There's nothing blocking the energy flow. It comes in, it goes up. They're in ecstasy all the time. I've had the honor of meeting such people, right? I don't like to tell you, then you want to do it. I was in the presence of me who was so great that a room 3 times this size, when I walked in it, it was like the poles of a magnet pushing against each other. I couldn't walk up to him that far away. And as you walk closer, it got stronger and stronger and stronger. They're just emanating light. They're emanating Shakti. There's nothing blocking it. Most of them you will absolutely never meet. I don't care who you think you met, because they live in the Himalayas and caves and throw rocks at you if you try to see them. They're not trying to build an ashram. They're not trying to do anything. They're gone, like Ramakrishna. He's just gone. Bye-bye. Whoa, I want to meet them. I like them. Okay? It's like, you are a very high being. You have all of that inside of you, but you're blocking it with this vibration rate that you held down inside of you. And now what happens when it tries to come back up? It feels terrible. And you push it back down. And now your entire life is devoted to being blocked. How about I say it that way? Your entire life is devoted to nothing triggering that stuff you stored inside of you to cause troubles. And if you're not doing that, we have positive scars, ones that got stored. Oh, this is nice. What's the problem there? Okay, there's no problem there. Here's the only problem. You're trying to have them again. Anything you stored that wasn't good, they didn't like, you don't want to have it again, do you? Anything you stored, which is very few, by the way, that really turned you on, I want to have it again. That's where your passions come from. Passion is Shakti. So they sit there and say, passion is an evil. No, passion is Shakti. Blocked Shakti, thinking it can release itself, or releasing itself in that direction. Shakti explains everything. So you get to the point where you start wondering, what am I doing with my life? I've devoted my life to the problems of my past, and then the only excitement I feel is if it matches something that felt good in my past. And I started to say, what's wrong with that? Well, nothing except that you want it to happen again. What does that mean? Disappointment, fear that it won't happen again, resentment because somebody got in the way of you happening again. It's not clean. Why don't you just be okay with what is? I'll give you a formula. Here, you want a pill the psychologist should give you? Here's the I'm okay with what is pill. If it's happening, I love it. I'm passionate about it. Hey man, they stole my car. Wow, this is far out. What do? I get to know the police. This is going to be fun, or maybe not be. I have a direct experience, right? I get to deal with insurance companies. I hear it's amazing. It's like a maze. Can I get around it? Hey, it's a puzzle. We do puzzles. They're fun. We play video games. Go deal with an insurance company. It's a puzzle. And it's like, why are you not having fun? Because you decided not to. You decide, I'd rather be sailing. That's going to be a bumper sticker. I told you, they once, many, many years ago, because I gave a talk like this, at the book table, they had a bumper sticker. It said, I'd rather be doing what I'm doing. Now, that's what it should say, isn't it? There, we're talking about that spirituality. It's not about trying to achieve something or this or that. It's saying, boy, am I messed up. You got to start there. AA starts with, I'm an alcoholic. If you don't say that, you don't go to the meetings. You got to accept reality. Boy, am I screwed up. I got all this stuff down there. Some people collect spoons, teacups, stamps, baseball cards. I collected bad experiences. Didn't I? If you store inside of you everything that ever disturbed you, what's it going to be like in there? Disturbed. And it is. And somebody says to me, I'm not disturbed. I like my wife and I like my kids. Okay, take them away. Ah! I'm disturbed, but I kind of compensated for it. I temporarily. What happens if you even think that your wife leaves or goes out? You hear me? You ain't fixed. That doesn't fix you. Those things you're doing to compensate for the issues you have in there. Doesn't mean you don't do them. You got to go through your life. But at some point you wake up and say, you know what? There's a mess in here. What's the solution? Clean it up. Can I clean it up? Some people will tell you no. So you're scarred. You're scarred for life. That's bull. Don't ever let anybody tell you anything like that. I'll prove it to you. If it tries to come back up, you push it back down. That's why it's still in there, because you're holding it in there. Aren't you? You didn't accept it when it happened, and you're sure as heck ain't accepting it now. That's why it's in there. Why does it come back up? That's a teaching that I've given in my new book, Living Untethered. I go into great detail in this, and people get helped a lot by that. All right? Just as your body has an immune system that does not want bacteria and viruses in it and knows how to, pretty much within reason, tries to get them out, doesn't it? It can do it, can't it? Your mind and your heart has such a system, but it's a way higher vibration rate of Shakti. So it's way more advanced. It does not want that garbage in there. Why would your heart or your mind want this garbage from the past shoved down there instead of it being experienced? Okay, it happened fine. All right? And so basically it tries to push it up, and that's why it keeps coming up. It will not sit down there quietly. It will try to push up, or it spreads out like a virus down there and destroys everything. You understand? Your whole life gets messed up because it spread its poison down there in the subconscious. So it doesn't want it in there. It's trying to purify, and you're pushing it back down. You're saying, no, I don't want you to purify. I don't want to deal with it. Well, the answer is you do want to deal with it. Now, again, we started with Shakti. Notice there's not a single thing I talked about that's just not different vibration rates of Shakti. What's the purpose of talking like that? Shakti's beautiful. Shakti's nirvana. When Shakti's free to flow, that's what nirvana is. When it's absolutely free and nothing's stopping it, consciousness is not pushing it away, the personal self is not interfering with it, it merges. The Shakti merges with consciousness. And it's called, in yoga, it's called Chit Shakti. Not two words. Chit Shakti, one word. They're the same thing. All right? Conscious energy. That's what God is, conscious energy. You focus on the conscious part, that's you. You're conscious, you're aware. Focus on the energy part, I've talked about it all day. It's all energy. It merges. That's called the merger. That's the union. The word yoga means union, merger. It is when all of that Shakti, which was vibrating at a lower rate, it still can. I told you, ice can exist even though there's water, even though there's steam. So the world can still exist even though you're enlightened, because you can dance at every single level of it. You're a very great being. Every single thing that I talked about today is you. They're just different vibration rates, but your consciousness has stopped it. It stopped it. All right? I almost said to you once, I said, you didn't want it to come all the way in. Didn't feel good. Have you ever had anything come all the way in? Have you ever had an experience that blew your mind? Meaning your mind couldn't think what it could think. You just came in, you said, it's like, it touched me. Has anything ever touched you to the depth of your being? Has anything ever touched you to where you said, I was in the presence of God? Because you didn't block it. You didn't push it away. It just came in and it just caught you by surprise, like a sunset that's gorgeous, or somebody running up and hugging you who you haven't seen for a long time. You go bye-bye. It's always supposed to do that with everything. That's what in the garden means. Everything in creation is God's creation, and God's experiencing God's creation. And Adam and Eve are just God experiencing God's creation. Don't think about it in heaven somewhere. It's just that every single thing touches you to the depth of your being. There's nothing blocking anything. It's just all wow, wow, wow. There's no personal self in there liking and not liking. And why would God like something he made and not like something he made? Artists paint paintings, or they made different things. They love them all. They're an expression of their being. This universe is the expression of God's being, and he's experiencing it. But then what did Adam and Eve do? That whole thing about the fruit, they developed a sense of ego. They developed a sense of I am separate. The most beautiful part of that story in Genesis is when Adam's in the garden and God's looking for him. Adam? What do you mean looking for him? You are him. He is you. All right? Adam, where are you? And Adam says, I'm hiding. How do you hide from God? You block. You put an artificial thing over your consciousness that says, I'm looking down now. And what I see is the body and the mind and the emotions of a human being. If I look up, I realize I'm merged with God. Is the body there? Yes, but I'm not staring at it and I'm not lost in it. I didn't fall from the garden into this human. Is the human there? Yes. I told you, it can all be there. The question is, are you fixated with your consciousness on it as who you are? No, right? And then God says, Adam says, here I am. And he stands up and God says, what's that around your waist? And Adam says, well, a fig leaf. So I put fig leaves on trees. What's it doing around your waist? And I'm telling you the deepest part of that entire story of Genesis. What did Adam say? I was naked. Whoa. Everybody's naked. The trees are naked. All the animals are naked. What do you mean I was naked? That's your ego. You started to identify with your body as yourself, and you became self-conscious because you're identified with your body as yourself. And all of a sudden you're staring at this thing and saying, I'm naked. Do you get what I'm telling you? I'm not telling you to run around nude. There's nothing wrong with clothes. There's nothing wrong with anything, except that you identify with them instead of identifying with who you are, which is God looking at them, God experiencing his creation. That's all that's happening. And it's all Shakti. That's what's so beautiful. So next time you feel depressed, you are not depressed. You're staring at a depressed psyche. Consciousness is not depressed. How can it be depressed? It's God. It's ecstasy, staring at a depressed psyche and identifying with it. So is there an answer? Of course there's an answer. Stop it. Okay? And people say I don't teach techniques. What I do is inspire you to free yourself. You figure it out. But it's not hard. It's not hard. Why? The problem is that you're shoving stuff down there. And when it naturally, very naturally comes back up, doesn't it? It comes back up by itself. Somebody says something, somebody doesn't say something, you think about something, comes back up. What's that telling you? It doesn't want to be down there. And you push it back down. Okay, don't do that. Whoa. All of a sudden, that's the highest technique you'll ever be taught. You have a tendency to push it back down, don't you? You have a tendency when new ones happen to push them down. So you've got all the old ones that you push down. You've got the new ones coming in, hitting the old ones, and you got yourself a mess in there. It's called neurotic. It's up, it's down, it's this, it's that, it's good one day and going on the next. Well, it's just hitting your stuff. A thought can make your stuff come up. A person, anything, everything. You don't want that stuff down there. It's keeping you from the ecstatic state of your being of God realization. It's a beautiful being, all right? What do? So the new book goes in real detail, and some people do real well with that book. I'm very happy to see it, right? 1, stop putting more down there. How? Stop putting more down there. Somebody doesn't say hello. Okay, they didn't say hello. It's hot. Okay, it's hot. You shove that down there. Oh my God, it's so hot. It's the whole day. It's so hot down here. I'm going to move. I don't live in Florida. And Arizona's got rattlesnake. She's now neurotic about the fact that it was hot. No, enjoy the hot. Enjoy it. It's hot. There's a star out there shining. You can feel its heat. Every single situation during your day is an opportunity to learn to let go. Keep your hands to yourself. Honor it, respect it, positive thinking, whatever you want. And what's going to happen is the old ones start coming up by themselves. I guarantee you they will come up by themselves. Don't touch them. And it is hard because they were stored with pain and they're coming back with pain. It's going to be hot. Good. You have to change your attitude. I love it. But it's hard to sit there when it's hot. Do your best to relax. Well, what if I slip and I say something? But fine, you slip and say something. You're gonna, don't worry, you got plenty of chances. Your entire lifetime is about this. The reason you took birth is to go back up with less than you came down with. So work on it every minute of every day. Relaxing is the answer. Relax in the face of the disturbance, and it will have room to pass through. And little by little it will pass through, and you'll get higher and higher. The real growth, you don't even know what's happening. Just all of a sudden, you're not being bothered by things that you were bothered by. And you just keep letting go. And then the big stuff comes up. The bigger that comes up, the better. You'll start to sit there and say, wow, if I got this high, letting go of little stuff, what's it going to be if I let go of mommy and daddy and ex-husband and all the junk that happened? Well, what would it be like? You start having a real aspiration and inspiration. That becomes your passion. I don't know how to stop, so... All right. Will you work on yourself? Jaggerative.
You've been listening to the Michael Singer Podcast, produced by Sounds True in partnership with Shakti Publications. For more information on Michael's body of work and all back episodes, please join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening. Sounds True, waking up the world.